15 degrees, you can see your breath. Out here in the lake effect, breaking tables like it's poetry. Where else would you rather be? Pinto on Elvis in the lay poncho. The members that you need to know. 'Cause once you out here now, your family. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be?
Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker and StreamYard. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud.
It's a vibe so ridiculous. Since 12 plus 83 was 6. The shout rocking like a symphony. Where else would you rather be?
All right, let's get straight to it. I'm excited, man. I really am excited. Season 4, Nickel City Crew is underway. I know that I speak for my co-host as well when I say that, damn, it feels good to be back, man. I'm really, really excited for Season 4. Really, really excited to interact with all of you guys once again. Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew, hit us up tonight in the chat. Joining me, as always, riding shotgun, my co-host, Adam Dump Truck Rupsick. Holla at the crew, DT. What's good, man? Look at you. What's good like that?
Let's go.
What's good with you, man?
Let's go. Hey, St. Patty's Day. We're in the season. We're in the vibe. What's up, Rob? We're back, man. I'm happy to be here for sure. I miss you, man. I miss you.
You know it.
I talked to you a little bit about this pre-show. Like, the NFL does a great job of, we're addicted. The Super Bowl happens. We chill out for a few weeks. And then here we are, back right on the grindstone, baby, hitting it hard. So happy to be back. Nickel City Crew, Season 4. Big season coming up for everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Let's go.
Click clack, we back. Yeah, man, I'm so excited for tonight's episode and for Season 4. We've come a long way. And again, we're going to be hitting you with live episodes all season long. So that way we can just interact with the fans and the chats and all that other stuff going on. So we're really excited about all of it. So welcome back. I mean, DT, I named the episode the way that I did because, boy, it's funny. My profession, it's time to pay the bills. Sometimes those bills come due and rent was due and all the other bills were due. And boy, did Brandon Beane take care of business. I mean, literally within one day drops the Bills from $40 million over the cap to getting under and cap compliant, as they call it. And we'll go over the moves, but boy, I mean, just to see the way that he worked the deals and to make sure that he got cap compliant, getting even Dawson Knox to take a pay cut, getting Von Miller to take a pay cut. I've got to tip my hat to Brandon Beane because once again, he shows that he's a wizard. I mean, he can get things done. Like, he gets shit shaken. I really have to appreciate the fact that he's on his grind. I really do.
Well, if this last situation here wasn't a call for the salary cap is basically fake, Rob, right? I mean, come on. The Bills are $50 million under the cap. They got to do all this miraculous stuff. Nothing that we could never imagine signing any free agents. And then a couple days later, this, that, and then boom, boom, boom. And here we are signing free agents. So it's yes, it is a thing. We're kicking the can, if you will, down the road or whatever the case. But Beane we trust, right? In these years, he's been doing it. And this salary cap is something that's like not real, right? It doesn't matter. We're the worst. We're 50 mil. We're by far the worst in the NFL. And we come back and we're just like everybody else right now. So that's how it is, baby.
Yeah, that's how it is. I mean, the Bills have a myriad of moves that they made. And it was interesting because, I mean, it seemed like Twitter was blowing up. Everybody's Instagram was blowing up because, there were some big names that were let go. Now, I don't think that it was necessarily a surprise, obviously, outside of Mitch Morse, in my personal opinion, DT. But I hadn't talked to you since, like, the bloodbath. It was crazy. Jordan Poyer, gone. Mitch Morse, gone. Crowd favorite right here behind me, Tre'Davious White, one of my favorite Buffalo Bills, gone. Saran Neal, a special teamer, gone. Deontay Hardy gone, along with Nyheim Hines as well, which gave us, all those wonderful memories with the kickoff returns back after the Patriots game after DeMar Hamlin. I mean, those were some crazy, crazy, crazy moves. And it was interesting because I wasn't surprised outside of Mitch Morse, like I said, DT, but just like the fact that it all came back, I described it on Twitter like it was like just he was ripping the Band-Aid off. He didn't want to go through it, multiple days and stretch it out. Brandon Beane just literally just here, take the medicine, say your goodbyes because this is the way that's going down. And he did it. He did it quick, man. I mean, it did not last long. One day, I think it was like around 2:30, and then by the time Ship with Bulldog were on WGR, it was over, man. I mean, everybody was gone. It was crazy.
Well, Rob, I've been watching The Sopranos on HBO. I've never watched that, about Tony Soprano and the mob family, and coming in and cutting out and being ruthless, and then we didn't really think of it until it actually happened, and we knew we had to make something. As I just said, it wasn't real or whatever. We had to make room somewhere somehow, and it's just coming from our psyche of. Tony Soprano goes to the therapist, right? That's his thing through the whole thing of the mob boss, like showing his feelings, and through the drought where we're beat down, and then all of a sudden this Bills team and the new wave starts coming in. And all these names were the names we loved and the names that made us back on the map again. And so that's playing with our emotions, even though it had to happen, right? It had to happen. Things. And it's all logical. You can make your argument for everything on that. Sure. It had to happen, but it was weird seeing it actually happen. Like you didn't know who was actually going to get cut. A few were, but then when everyone did, it was like, damn, like all these names are gone. And when you speak of Tre'Davious White, we'll get on that. Like that probably made the most sense, to be honest, Rob. Unfortunately, like it was the dude that we talked. We traded Patrick Mahomes for, whatever you want to say, and had a great career for us. A beautiful player for the Bills, and unfortunately those last two big injuries and paying him a lot of money, that was probably the one that made the most sense, but that was the one that probably hit the most other than Poyer, that you really loved, and in that new age post-drought, messing with our emotions and really, really loving, becoming a Bills fan harder again. And, so credit to those dudes, but it was tough to see him go for real.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, outside of Mitch Morse, it was nothing that was really too surprising. Like Poyer was definitely more polarizing. So everybody wanted to talk about Poyer, and they wanted to talk about, well, where's he going? And then people were up in arms when he went to Miami, whatever the case may be. But he had battled some injuries as well. So he was getting longer in the tooth, as they say. And I kind of understood the philosophy because of the fact that you get safeties that are throwing their bodies around like Poyer does, and they get banged up. Those injuries, start to accumulate to the point where you just can't be the same player that you were. And we started to see that 2 seasons ago, and he battled through injuries. It seemed like that entire 21 season. And then, it was just a tough go for him now. And the same thing with Micah Hyde. You saw Micah Hyde step away, and it looks like he's going to be retiring as well. He hasn't made anything official yet. But you look at a guy like that. You look at a guy like Mitch Morse, who even though he was really great on the offensive line and the line was great and they were consistent, how many times could the Bills, really bank on them, playing every single snap together? That's going to be tough. He had an injury history as well with those concussions. So I thought it was a situation where I was surprised by Morse, but you look at Tre'Davious, like you said, you look at Poyer. I mean, Saran Neal, yes, special teams matter. I can hear Jay Spence, the king over at Buffalo Rumblings, say the special teams matter, and they do. But I mean, you could find somebody else to plug in for him on that front. And then when it comes to Hardy, I mean, I never got a chance to know Hardy because of the fact that he was never on the damn field. So I couldn't miss something that I never saw. And obviously, again, that Nyheim Hines gave us that wonderful performance against the Patriots on after DeMar Hamlin. So for me, DT, there was nothing outside of Mitch Morse that made me just my jaw drop and say, what the hell are you doing, Brandon Beane, over there at One Bills Drive? Everything seemed calculated. It seemed like they had thought about it. I was surprised by Mitch Morse, but it looks like they're going to kick Connor McGovern over from guard to center. David Edwards, that we'll talk about, that got re-signed, has an opportunity to go ahead and grab that left guard position. And because of that, after that, DT, you gotta cut bait. And that's why I would never be a great GM for the Buffalo Bills, because the fact that I would get attached to players. And I think that that's a real good point to bring up, is because these things are emotional. And, I hear some of the people ragging on Kevin Adams, of the Sabres across town, and they're talking about how he gets a little bit too emotional over the Zenmus Gergensons and all that type of stuff, and dropping Poso. And listen, it's calculated, it's cold, and it's a business. These guys were not doing it for free, so they were compensated. They know what it's like to have to get the moving trucks and stuff like that, and pick up their families and find a new city to live or find a new career, whatever the case may be. It's cold. It sucks, but it is a part of professional sports, DT. I mean, this is the way it goes, man. You don't get these jobs forever. Unless you're Sean.
I would agree, right?
No,
I would agree.
Like that.
You're looking at, and especially that the center, the quarterback of the line, if you will, with Josh Allen, your franchise guy. You want to have somebody who's comfortable with under there. But you look 11 draft picks, Rob.
Yeah.
In every draft, there's an offensive lineman getting picked. In
Yep.
every draft, you can't say that about any other position on the team.
Right.
Every draft, there's always an offensive lineman getting picked somewhere, whether it's late, whether it's early.
Yep.
You're always investing in that, and especially now, and I'm the most critical of that and everything between. But Mitch Morse, yes, injuries. I didn't realize it was that much money. I mean, $8 million, right? $8 million he leaves.
Yes.
I think you got to do it. McGovern is a proven player in this league. Has played center, Penn State guy. Played it there too. He's got to go in and that'll be fine. I think that's an easy adjustment. And then you rely on your guys on your roster now. And those 11 draft picks, you might get somebody else.
And your coaching, I mean, Kohler was really running a great scheme last year for them. They improved. I know you're hard on the line, but they did improve. So
but and the actual game plan of that too is the center. Yes, they're the quarterback, and they got to call out everything on the offensive line. But blitzing up the middle on Josh Allen's probably not your best idea. When he gets out and about. So that is truthfully a game plan that I think was a factor in this decision. Was we might not see a lot of hard pressure up the middle, especially on 1-7, so we can afford to, bring somebody in and have a question mark at center, bring somebody in a guard. That's where you can really, kind of interchange and leave the tackles alone. So that might be something as well when it comes into it. But it's tough, again, tough to see. We love Mitch Morse, a true leader in this league. But Rob, I mean, we're looking at this Josh Allen 7 years in. When the drought broke about 7 years, 7 years here, we had this squad. Now it's the reset and the face of the new squad. Josh Allen, two phases of his career. This was the first phase. Now this is the start of the second phase.
Yeah, phase two.
That's what we're getting into.
Yeah, phase two. It's absolutely turn the page time, and that's the harsh reality of pro sports. But you've got a window, and I'm so sick of hearing all these prognosticators on ESPN and Ryan Clark and Stephen A. Smith who don't know shit about Buffalo sports at all from a 30,000 foot view, talking about how the window's closed and there's more pressure on Josh Allen. Listen, this was always going to be the plan. You don't get a chance to keep the same core throughout a quarterback's career. Quarterbacks normally are playing the longest, along with some of the linemen as well on the other side of the ball. But quarterbacks have the longevity. They get a chance to be protected. The league is set up to protect those guys. So Josh Allen, you're going to see a lot of different iterations of the Buffalo Bills around Josh Allen. It's important in my mind, in my views, that we maximize those different phases. We maximize those. Now, I was a little bit salty after this first phase comes to a close. I wanted a little bit more to show for it than 13 seconds. I wanted, a Super Bowl berth, at least one. Now we're into phase two, like you said. Hopefully we can get a chance to get back to the Super Bowl, our 5th Super Bowl appearance, and see what happens with it. With this unicorn, like you said, this must-see TV quarterback that we have that we're all so proud of. So, phases change, things change, and I understand that. I think that fans need to embrace it because of the fact that you're not going to have the same core every single year. And these guys, for a greater majority of them, they kind of just aged out. So we'll see how it goes now.
Yeah. And one more point. I'm sorry, before we move on.
You good.
What I looked at it, how I kind of coped with this and got over this, as we say, Nickel City Cruise therapy, right? And how I worked with this was I looked at each individual that we let go, the big names, the Trey Whites, the Jordan Poyer, the Mitch Morses, and said, if they were free agents and never played for the Bills before, would I want to be bringing those guys on this team? Would I be yelling at Beane to go out and get these dudes? And, realistically, I'm going to say, I don't know what you say, but the answer is no on all of them, right? Yeah. Everyone has the age, has the injury, has the money. It's no point to go. So that's what's kind of helped me get through it onto this new age, new face. But that was my point. I couldn't see any of these guys going out and signing them if they weren't on the Bills, right? Going out and getting them. So
we'll see how it goes. I mean, it is interesting, and I know that it stings, and we'll get to Poyer in a minute because I had some lengthy fights with some people the other night, and about Jordan Poyer because I've got a unique take on it as well. But I think that it's important to just make sure that you embrace the fact that the core will change, and we got to understand that. Now, when it comes to free agency, please check us out on the chat. Join us. Bring up any topics that you want to talk about, that you want to hear DT and myself bring up. We're more than open to interacting with you guys. Again, that's why we're doing these lives during season 4 and beyond. We want to interact with Bill's Mafia, Nickel City Crew. Let's chop it up together. Now, DT, Brandon Beane again was not not shy about doing what he had to do. And it's funny because it's springtime. So what did they talk about? Spring cleaning, and you're making sure that your house is in order and you're throwing out old shit. So he threw out a lot of old shit that he didn't need anymore. And then he's tidying up the place. And it's really funny because he didn't waste any time when it came to taking care of his own house. Now, I know that we haven't made a bunch of splashes. We'll talk about Curtis Samuel in a moment. But other than that, like, we haven't done a lot of big splashes. But what he did do, and what I do appreciate, DT, is that he took care of his own house. He made sure that his own house wasn't fucked up. He made sure his own house wasn't all messy. Bringing back Mitch Trubisky. Some people don't like it. It's pennies on the dollar. It doesn't. We need a backup quarterback. We need somebody that can actually come in just in case Josh, God forbid, goes down. You've got Taylor Rapp. I heard a lot of shit about Taylor Rapp. Hey, listen, he's a safety. He likes to hit. He likes to move around. Was he perfect last year? No, he was not perfect last year. But you need somebody to help replace Poirier and Hyde. You got Matt Hack coming back. We don't need him, but he'll be a camp body trying to go ahead and compete for the punting position with our other punter, Sam Martin. And then you've got Edwards, like we talked about, on the offensive line as McGovern shifts over to center. So I think that that's an important pickup, and making sure that we're resigning. Again, keeping the house tidy. AJ Epinesa, DT, when it was, the beginning of the season, we were like, oh, man, he's in trouble. Boogie Bash is in trouble. We both had to eat crow on that one because he balled out last year. It was his best season as a pro, had a couple picks. We remember that one, important picks that he had down there in Kansas City during the regular season. Unfortunately, he got hurt after that. But I like AJ Epinesa coming back. And it was not, again, I think I read it on Buffalo Rumblings. It was like 60th among defensive ends. Now, I can stomach that. There's nothing exorbitant that Brandon B did with these pickups. You've got Jones, being coming back. I mean, I like that. I mean, Cam Lewis. I mean, DT, speak about it, because I thought that Brandon B did a great job of just making sure that he kept the house in order, and he made sure that he didn't lose anybody that he really needed to. And Day was so important because of the fact you saw how Ed Oliver's game went to another level with Daquan Jones next to him. It was so horrible to see him with that pec injury, DT, but to see him back in the fold, I'm happy about that. I know we only got 3 defensive tackles, and that's what the draft's for, but I'm happy about what Brandon Beane did in-house. Externally, we'll talk about Curtis Samuel here in a minute, but he did what he had to do to make sure that he fortified some of the holes and plugged them. That's what free agency is really for.
Yeah, I mean, you let that main core go, all those releases the week before, and then to put it in perspective, this roster of 53 or 52, it's got to get to 90 by training camp, So
Right.
some guys
Right.
got to be out there, Rob, and why not? AJ Epinesa has. We talked about maybe not even making the team to having a great year. He earned his, he earned the contract. We didn't pay the bank on him. We got him for a very modest amount, and if he produces and continues his trajectory he's shown us, that's going to be well worth it in the future. So you got to have some guys, and why not have guys that know the system, know the play, and in very question mark situations, especially on the defensive line, he comes out, hits that. We get him for a couple more years. AJ Epinesa, if he continues to descend, it's the best ascend. Excuse me, it's the best move Beane's made. One of them, you could argue, and obviously we got love for 92 Daquan Jones,
Love Day.
a great
Love
player.
him.
Like, I thought my personal philosophy on this was, he's a local guy from
Right.
Binghamton.
Right.
It's year 11 for him. He's the same age as me. It's a year 11 for him coming in this league. I didn't know if he was talking about retiring. He's from Binghamton. He's got business ventures out there. There's a lot of things. So I'm thinking we get him 1 year, $3-4 million, veteran 1 year deal, and he gets the same deal he got 2 years ago when he came here. 2 years, $16 million. So that shows me the experts, Beane and the scouts and the experts think he's got more than the year. He's just here for the business trip to be a good locker room guy and plug the hole a few plays, every series. They're saying, no, like, you're as good as 2 years ago when we brought you here. So that's encouraging, seeing them go after guys that we knew are good on this team, that are strong, and come back and invest in them. We can't keep everybody, but some guys come back, and so it's not a full clean house. There's still some common names, and obviously we love 9-2. We love Jones. Shout out, friend of the program, real good dude. Daquan, let's go. You had the year off, the pec injury. Come back. You were having a career year. Come back and have a better one. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm down with that. I love Day. I love him, and again, he definitely elevated Ed Oliver's game. So that's what I really appreciate about it, because he was a disruptive force, and then Ed Oliver, just kind of took it to another level. Now, quickly before we transition, as we move on to the wide receivers, who I know everybody's interested in, and I'm so interested in as well. Just some quick notes and some house cleaning on Nickel City Crew's behalf, DT, because I got into it with a few people on Twitter, and then I had Rachel Bush actually liking some of my comments as well. Listen, I don't understand all the Poyer hate, and I get it. Listen, I had to educate some of the younger Bills Mafia. They were talking about, I can't believe he went to the Dolphins and this
there
and
was
that.
Poyer hate on Twitter?
It was
Come
crazy.
on now.
Listen, everybody's mad that he went to the Dolphins, and then I had to educate some of the younger Mafia members that, listen, Thurman Thomas went to the Dolphins, and you know what I mean. And Bruce Smith and Andre Reed played for the Commanders. Believe it or not, after they were released, they were all released on the same day, a bloody day back in 2000, when just the era of the actual '90s Bills Super Bowl runs came to an end, and to clear cap space, all three of them had to leave the team. Listen, Jordan Poyer has not violated any rules by going to play and continue his career. He actually was fired by the Buffalo Bills and wants to keep playing. That's his prerogative. He wants to keep playing. I know that he's a Florida cat from down there, and his family is down there and his wife and stuff like that. So listen, all the Poyer, I heard a lot of just Poyer slander about, he's a traitor, and how could he go? He could go to any other team. No, you don't get 31 other teams that all want you. That's not how free agency works. So listen, he found an opportunity to go back closer to home, or where he spends a lot of his time down there in South Beach. And I'm not hating on him. I want him to stay healthy. Obviously, I wouldn't root for him when the Bills go up against the Dolphins. It's always squish the fish week. But I heard a lot of people just hating on Poyer and talking about how they could not believe that he went to the rival and that they lost respect for it. And I'm like, I mean, the charity softball events, I mean, all the things that he did on the field, putting his body out there on the line, playing through injuries. How could you have any respect that's been lost on a guy that has just been a perfect example of what a Buffalo Bill should be, especially in this new age, social media and different things like that. He's been very, very great in the community. And I was taken back by the fact that a lot of people were just so mad that he went to the Dolphins. And I'm like, man, you guys are neglecting the fact that Brandon Beane and the Bills fired him. He wanted to keep his playing career going. Like, I don't have any hate for it, man. I can't
didn't know that.
Yes,
I was 8 years old.
I mean, it's over now.
That's why I like that Instagram, a little more positive. Twitter, I feel like I find myself in your same deal, down some rabbit holes with that. Like, come on now. Come on. You cannot come at Jordan Poyer for anything. He's given us anything and then some, and house money. Last year when he was a free agent, he was going to the Dolphins. It was like it was a reported thing, I think. From Chevrolet, he was going to the Dolphins.
And what happened?
He came back, and realistically, we love Jordan Poyer, but this year, come on, we were critical. We weren't saying it out loud, but we're like, damn, dude looks a little slower, a little off his step, a little. Yep. So all right, go to Miami so we can play you twice a year, and you'll be not saying he was a liability by any means, but a year later on Miami, and you never know. So. It's a business. It's the way you got to go. He lives there. He literally lives there. And give the dude a break. He's played in New York the last 7 years with the worst state income tax in the entire country. Let him go to Miami and not have any state income tax. Play a year, get some bread, chill with Rachel Bush, who support for Rachel Bush on the program. Let's go.
Yeah, yes, I just don't understand it. I just didn't get it. I thought that it was a little shallow of Bills Mafia. Yeah. Again, I know that the Twitter does not represent all.
I think we can set the precedent here. Nickel City Crew. If you're a real loyal Nickel City Crew fan, you got beef with Jordan Poyer going to the Dolphins. Like, you need to DM us separately because we got to talk that out. Like, come on.
I had no problem with it, man.
That guy got fired. Us a lot of love, a lot of. Yeah, exactly. We gave him there, and realistically, everybody thought we were giving him there last year, and it didn't.
Right.
And what did he do this year that made you think, oh no, oh no?
Yeah, no. So, I mean, it's
kudos,
all good.
Love him. It's all good, but
he wants to keep playing. Let him keep playing.
Yeah. Let's see.
He wants to keep playing. All right, now as we transition, DT, it's interesting to talk about wide receivers because I know that they're the talk of Bills Mafia right now, and they're the talk of everything that's been going on. I know the Bills signed guy Mac Hollins. I had to, I'll be honest, I had to Google his name. I had no idea who the hell he was. Or what he had done in the league, didn't know anything about it. He's actually older than Stephon Diggs, so obviously, again, just not more of a special teams guy. And again, a bigger body like Gabe Davis was, but I don't expect the same type of production. Again, Curtis Samuel picked up today by the Bills, former Carolina Panther. There's that connection once again. Spends the last couple of years in Washington, and again, not a deep threat, not going down the field, taking the top off of the defense type of threat, but somebody that works the underneath game, the intermediate game, and he's got some good rack on him as well. He uses those yards after catch to his ability. He can run all different types of routes as well, and it's an interesting signing. And I was wondering, I was talking to Justice before show, and I was like, Justice, what you think about it? Twitter again was real negative about Curtis Samuel, and he was like, that's because people don't understand roster building. It's a great pickup, and I had to agree with Justice General on that one. I mean, it's a great pickup because of the fact that the money's in line. No big crazy deal. This does not remove us, I don't think, from the draft or anything like that on that wide receiver train that WGR and Jeremy White always talk about. And I'm just interested to see what you think about the wide receiver room now and then going forward into next month for next month's draft, DT, because I'm really excited to see what they continue to do, because I don't think that anything that they've done so far, DT, stops them from going high. For one of those guys. I mean, even the trade up. You could talk about all those draft picks that they've got, maybe even trade up if you have to go get one of those studs. I think that it's going to be real important. The wide receiver room, I think, is the number one thing you and I were looking at. And I know that so much of Bills Mafia feels the same way. What are your thoughts on it, DT? Mac Hollins, and then again, Curtis Samuel coming into the Bills.
Well, Rob, I mean, Steve Tasker said it best the other day on One Bills Live. He said, training camp, again, I'm talking about numbers. You go in with 15 receivers to a training camp, right? So we're gonna be up in this, no matter what, we're up in this, right?
Right.
I'll start with this. A little trivia, a little guessing game for Nickel City Crew and you, Rob.
What we got?
11 catches, 86 yards, 1 touchdown.
Trent Sherfield?
Correct.
I was guessing that. I just know he had that one in the back of the end zone.
That was all right. So that was his touchdown, and probably most of his 86 yards that game in Miami.
Yeah.
Trent Sherfield comes in. The big three. Miami was pissed when we let him go.
Right.
Oh, he's going to be a great three. 11 catches, 86 yards, 1 touchdown for an entire year for Trent Sherfield. Okay. Curtis Samuel comes in, averaging 700 yards, 8 touchdowns, 60 to 70 catches a year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's one stat line. 11 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. That's one game. That's an entire year for Trent Sherfield.
Yeah.
If anybody dogging Curtis Samuel coming in and adding depth to this roster, last year you had Trent Sherfield. I feel like Curtis Samuel is going to be in an equivalent spot. Equivalent spot as Khalil Shakir moves into that starting slot role. Stephon Diggs is still the number one.
Alpha.
And you're going to go out and you're going to draft somebody. I mean, you have 11 draft picks. Stephon Diggs isn't here forever. You have to go get a receiver in the draft. My philosophy was 2 in the first 4 rounds. That might change now that we had Curtis Samuel. Let's get one.
Let's get the best one that we can get
up early. Let's go get a Nancy. He will be the one when Stephon Diggs lives. But right now, you got Stephon Diggs, Shakir moving into that slot, and that 3 was Trent Sherfield. Now it's Curtis Samuel. Trent Sherfield, 11 for 86 and 1. Curtis Samuel, 60 for 606.
Right. Yeah. I like it. I mean, I think that it's a good move. Again, the money lines up for me. It wasn't anything crazy. I think it was 15 million guaranteed, but it's 3 years, 30 million.
330.
I mean, that's nice and easy. 10 million a year.
That's a Madden.
That's a Madden contract. Yes, when you're doing Madden, you learn it. Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, I think that it's a deal that we could swallow. And I don't think that this stops us from actually going out and getting that wide receiver. Now, as we transition and start talking about it, DT, I know that we'll be talking about the draft more extensively next month as we ramp up. But DT, I already know that our GM loves to wheel and deal. I already know that he sometimes gets that itch and he's got to just go get his guy. He trades up for Tremaine Edmonds. He trades up, for Deion Dawkins. He's traded up for really a lot of guys all across the draft board. I can't see Brandon Beane just sitting still. Now maybe it's not round 1, but I really do think that's the time to strike. I'm not willing to give up next year's first or anything. No crazy shit like that. Don't start going crazy Sammy Watkins days or anything like that. But what I am saying. Well, I'm not. Unless we're talking about like Roma Dunze or something like that, man. That's at the way tippy top. But coming from 28, being honest and being logical about it, maybe get into the low teens or something like that, or that, somewhere closer to 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, somewhere. I think that Brandon Beane is he's already shown us that he's the wheeler or dealer, that he will make a move if he feels like his guy is on the board. I'm talking Brian Thomas Jr. I'm talking, it looks like Neighbors, I guess, is one of the consensus top guys with Harrison, and it looks like Rome Odunze might be out of reach as well. But whatever they pick after that next crop, I would love to see Brandon Beane move up. I'm not afraid of it as long as they're not giving up next year's first round pick for it. I'm in favor, man. Let's move around. 11 draft picks will not make this team, even though we had some holes. I don't think 11 draft picks make the Buffalo Bills, final roster. So, hey, spend some of that chips, man. Spend some of them chips.
It's time. Bruce Buffer. It's time. It's time. You got to get up and spend it. I mean, this is the difference of, going and finding last year, not even Justin Jefferson. Last year, that run of receivers, that bulk that went ahead of Buffalo and they traded up Dick Kincaid, but the Zay Flowers, I'm blanking here. Give me the rookie receivers
Jackson
from last
Smith
year.
And Jake Bubb was right after.
Yeah. These are dudes that change franchises, and if you can come up 10 with Josh Allen and get the guy who's going to succeed, Stephon Diggs. This is a succession plan, and this needs to be a succession plan. And that's why I'm confident in this, and I wasn't too hurt about all these cuts and everything, because this is a plan from Beane. Like, this is my first couple of years. Now this is the next. We're planning for this next couple of years. And get cheap labor, dude. Cheap labor in this draft. The receiver, we have to find our next number one in this draft. And I'm going to put my eye on this literally more than I have since we were in the drought and we were looking for the quarterback. And I'm going to put my eye on this draft more than previous years since the drought, because I agree. This has to be our next number one receiver. And if it goes up, and these are proven guys, like, it's not the old days where these dudes have to sit 2-3 years. Like, these guys are coming in and producing, being all pros right away. So
that's true.
You got to go in and get this guy for 17, get the succession plan for Stephon Diggs. You're fine. You're building in there. When you talk, like, what else are you going to do? Defensive line?
I think that it's more worth it to do it for wide receiver, because in the first round, specifically because of that fifth year.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Like, because you can wait to the second round, and I think we're 28th in the second round as well, and you can wait. But I just know how the draft always seems to have runs, and you saw the run, like you just spoke about, the run on the wide receivers happened right before
ahead of
that.
Be ahead of that run. Yeah.
So
you got the cap.
I don't want to run in the early second round, and all of a sudden T. Higgins and all those guys go early in the second round, and then you're looking at your pick way back at 28, and you're like, damn, like, the five guys that I really liked are already gone. I'm not even talking about the Marvin Harrison Jr.'s and the Rome Odunzes in the first round. I'm talking about my group of, I've got 5 picked out that I really like. I feel that there's a chance that if you wait till the second round, some of those guys are, or if not all of them, are going to be gone if they have some type of run. So my thing is that get that fifth year option. It gives you flexibility. It gives that rookie, like almost like a redshirt year where there's not a lot of pressure on him to perform right away. If he does and he pops, great. You give him his opportunities. But if he seems like he's struggling or he needs some type of more seasoning, you have that extra year where you don't have to make a decision on him. You don't have to cut him or trade him or, some type of cut and bait on this guy. I feel like that fifth year on the wide receiver, the way that they're getting paid now is just, it's important to have that fifth year and that cost control, because you could fuck around and wait till the second round and your guy's gone.
Exactly.
Honestly.
And here's one for you, Rob. If Stephon Diggs is, let's fast forward 3 years, right? And if Gabe Davis is drafted this year,
sure,
and it comes up to, are we paying Gabe Davis his exact same production?
It's the same thing, yeah.
But we know Stephon Diggs is done completely.
Right. And that's an even bigger hole. Now you're chasing your tail.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, a whole different story with Gabe Davis.
Yep.
So that's what
we might have given that big ass Jacksonville contract.
Yeah, mm-hmm. You have an opportunity to get ahead of that. Exactly. Right. You have an opportunity to get that dude to succeed, Diggs, and still don't have to pay him for a few years. That's going to be key, because money's everywhere, obviously, and it's getting higher and it's getting there. So if you can have a chance to get the next number one receiver for basically nothing, you still, like, Curtis Samuel means nothing to me in the fact of being aggressive to move up for a wide receiver.
Yeah, I agree. You guys, we shout out to Nickel City Crew, Bills Mafia. You guys are watching. We see you there. Shout out to you guys. You guys are quiet tonight. let me know what you guys think. Let Dump Truck know what you guys think about the wide receiver. Are we cool with wide receiver first round?
They got to get warmed back up, Rob.
We got to get warmed. Everybody's okay. It's still off season. Okay, I'll let everybody go, man. We do honestly appreciate over 1,300 people watching right now, so we really do appreciate the viewers and you guys listening in. And DT's right. You don't have to chat if you don't feel like it tonight, but I'm just interested to know what the Mafia feels. I think that extra year on that 5th-year option for those first rounders is a really, really important one. And yes, you can do Chop. I guess Chop Robinson, is that short for Pork Chop? The guy from Penn State. I've heard about him. Yep. There's plenty of
Micah Parsons Jr.
There's plenty of defensive tackles that they're talking about. There's a center as well, like some guy named Powers.
From Texas, the D lineman. What is he? 6'8"?
Yes.
360.
Yes.
Ran a 5.40.
Yes. I can't call his name. I'm bad at the draft picks.
Sweat. I think it's Sweat.
Vontez Sweat or something like that. Yeah,
that's your refrigerator coming at you at about 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I do think that the position and the way that the wide receivers are getting paid nowadays, if they do pop, I think that 5th-year option just gives you a little bit more flexibility. Now, as we begin to wrap up, we got to take a stroll around the league this year. DT and I are going to be doing picks. We're going to be battling head to head to see who can have the better record by the end of the year. We're going to do something for charity on the winner and donate to charity and some different events. And we're going to have some giveaways this year. We've got a lot planned for Nickel City Crew. I've got jersey giveaways. I've got a lot of just different great ideas that I want to get you guys engaged on and get you guys a part of. So we got to take a stroll around the league, DT. Not only the AFC, the NFC, everything. It's funny. It's like NASDAQ. That bell rings in free agency, and it's in this case, it's always that little the legal tampering period. That shit opens up, DT, and it's like everybody is just buck wild. Everybody, so and so agreed to terms, and so and so agreed to terms, and it's crazy. The running back market, DT, it's crazy. They didn't get paid an exorbitant amount of money when you do like the annual average value, but it seemed like it was just a merry-go-round. Everybody switched running backs, and it seems like nobody's interested in the cheap backs. And I mean, even Devin Singletary got paid to go to the Giants. I mean, everybody moving around. You got Barkley on the move. You've got Derrick Henry on the move. DeAndre Swift, he was the first domino to fall going. It's crazy, man. Everybody seems to be in on, all right, you want your running back? Okay, all right, let's trade. You want yours? Okay, let's trade. And it's just been crazy, man. The running back market is blowing up. Not that they're getting paid a crazy amount of money, but the fact that everybody seems to have a new seat.
Well, it showed both sides, right? It showed like, hey, listen, running backs are losing value. They're crying for all this money and they're not getting it because they're a dime a dozen and everything in between. But then they're getting paid to go places. But then the places that are letting them leave are also like, all right, we're straight. Like we don't need you. Like the best example of that is the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that's a Super Bowl contender when Joe Burrow is healthy. Yeah, and they let Joe Mixon, who is a core of that offensive system, let him go.
Still can play too. He still can play.
Peace, dude. Peace.
Yeah.
And so that shows that it's a dime a dozen. But then when he goes somewhere like the Houston Texans, who are building and young and good, it's like, damn, now they're dangerous because they got Joe Mixon. Nice. Yeah, but one of the AFC contenders just said walk to give him to
another man's trash is somebody else's treasure, right?
Exactly. And the running back, and I'm still on the belief of a lot more conservative in the running back game. We're grateful to have James Cook as on his rookie deal and Buddy into a hopeful superstar, but into the game of chasing these superstar running backs, it doesn't seem like it ever works out, especially in today's passing league. The Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in our generation, goes to one of the best teams in the NFC. Yes, it doesn't make them worse by any means.
Right.
But they could run Vegas-wise, the odds didn't change. The exact same odds either way. So, and this team that was born on the run, and Gus Edwards and all these no-name running backs having crazy running seasons, when it push came to shove in the AFC Championship, they run 6 times and they lose. So
their offensive coordinator lost his mind that day. Yeah,
exactly.
Trying to keep up with Mahomes.
So it's such a back and forth game. Like, these dudes are going and getting paid, and Tony Pollard and Austin Eckler, and they're going to get paid not crazy, but a decent amount. But at the same time, they're walking away from teams that they were the all-star on, and they don't care anymore. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
it's interesting to see. And I mean, I was definitely amused by the running back. Like I said, it was like a merry-go-round. It just seemed like everybody was trading backs and moving them around and different things like that. Swift goes to the Bears. I mean, like you said, Henry to the Baltimore Ravens. They've got a scary. They said that the video game, it's like a video game Madden backfield. But like somebody brought up a great point that they always could run the ball. So like it's not like it's anything crazy. Like they've always been great at running the ball. Will they run the ball when it's most important and when it's time to run that damn rock like they're supposed to during the playoffs? So it'll be interesting to see how all of those things shake out. Again, Barkley on the move and going back home to Pennsylvania with the Eagles. So it'll all be interesting to see. It was just funny to see that these guys. I mean, Zach Moss got paid. I mean, even Zach Moss I think he's replacing Mixon out in Cincinnati.
Joe Mixon,
it's
going as a starter.
I said Zach Moss was okay last year. There's nothing wrong with him. He definitely played his best season as a pro. He was definitely better than he was with the Bills. But I'm like, damn, okay, he got a little bag. So I'm not hating on the running back market. Again, Nate, my middle king, he'll never play running back. I'll never let him do it because they just
grateful
they
we don't have to worry about it. Jimmy Cook, let's go for.
They do. Right? Yeah, they chew you up and spit you out. Now, Russell Wilson on the move, Kirk Cousins on the move. You laugh at Russell. Everybody just wants to bang on Russell. It's funny because he is such an awkward dude that I can definitely understand why motherfuckers think that he's fake. And like, this dude is not genuine at all. But like, he seems like a nice guy. He got shit on last year. I thought that he was way better than what obviously Sean Payton just didn't like him. And it seemed like it was going to be the writing on the wall. When he got blown up and they were yelling at him like that, and he was just undressing this man on national TV, I said, okay, they're definitely done with him. And then obviously it comes out after the season or towards the end of the season that they asked him to take that injury guarantee off. So he's on the move. Kenny Pickett, I'm sure he's pissed as hell because that's it for him out there in Pittsburgh. I don't care if he played at Pitt. I don't care if he played across the street from the stadium. Russell
Welcome to the best job in the NFL, though. Backup QB.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's swanky, but I'm sure.
And don't do shit.
Yeah, I know, but I'm sure he wants to play, but he's definitely not going to be starting over Russell Wilson. Kirk Cousins going down to, on the NFC side of the football.
Rob,
what's up, man?
This dude, congratulations.
He's a snake oil salesman.
He is a professional bank robber.
One playoff
incredible. His agent is the best agent in the world.
That's what Cam Newton said.
Scott Boras, all these baseball agents that get these dudes guaranteed money. Now,
they ain't got nothing on this
Kirk Cousins' agent is the best in the world and forever will be. This dude has $500 million guaranteed in his career, and that doesn't count his endorsements or anything else he's made. With
his
I
cold
love
cash.
Kirk Cousins. I like Kirk Cousins.
He's corny, and I like it. I mean, he embraces it. I like him. $500 million.
They were showing the stats. Granted, it's different times, right? But Tom Brady making like 300 guaranteed and having 38 playoff wins, and then Kirk Cousins 500 guaranteed with one playoff win. Like, come on, dude. But hey, Falcons are loading up for him at least.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. I mean, for sure, because he is definitely cashed in. Obviously, things didn't go as well in Minnesota, but he started it by, to be honest, he got on that track by how he treated Washington. Let them tag him, and then they tagged him again.
Twice.
You know what I mean? Exactly. And then he was like, well, you can't tag me 3 times, otherwise you're going to be paying back then would have been, the equivalent of $100 million, something crazy like that. They let him go. He spends another 6 seasons in Minnesota. I think he's a solid B to B plus quarterback. He's not dynamic. He's not going to take and elevate your team. He doesn't, he's not mobile, and you don't have to be mobile to be dynamic, but he's kind of just right along the middle. He's better than average. But boy, man, I mean, he just keeps cashing in. I can't imagine paying a guy that much money, but I mean, like I said, can't hate the player, hate the game.
And putting shit on film. I mean, he's playing with arguably could be one of the best wide receivers in NFL history in Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
I know. Off a blown Achilles at 35, getting $200 million.
100 million. He gets $100 million guaranteed, 4 years, 180, $100 million guaranteed.
Yeah,
and again,
the first year, $50 million signing bonus.
Yeah,
$50 million signing bonus.
Oh, his first contract in Minnesota was fully guaranteed, like $96 million, and that was the first time that anybody had heard of that in respects of fully guaranteed. So, shout out to Kirk
for the
Cousins.
Falcons and the NFC South. Who cares, right?
Shout out to Kirk Cousins and that Coles cash. He's got definitely plenty to spend now for sure, on top of all the other money that he's made. So it's interesting, like I said, DT, a lot of wide receivers on the move. I was a little bit shocked to see that money. Somebody had made a funny joke on Twitter that all great wide receivers just go to Tennessee to get paid, but not to win. And that is just so true. I could not believe Calvin Ridley chose them I'm like, the Titans? I said, well, Will Levis, he's a strong arm quarterback, but like, damn, like, I mean, you pretty much had the pick of the litter, number one wide receiver target out there, pretty much for free agency, and he picks the Titans, and it was a head scratcher. I was not sure that I agreed with that one, but he got paid $92 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
So same thing, man. Free agency, you can never blame these guys. They have a short amount of time to maximize their window, and their window is finite because of the injuries. I mean, I'll never blame these guys going after the cash, DT.
No. And this happens. This happens every year. It's the way of the league. The good teams have the less money because they usually have the best players,
Right.
and the bad teams have the most money. That's the point, to try to equivalate and bring the parity to the league. And and there's always those dudes that sign for the crazy contracts on a team that really doesn't have a chance. I mean, granted, the Titans good. They got DeAndre Hopkins and now Calvin Ridley, who is 30 years old, by the way.
I know. I didn't. I forgot that he had that 1 year off. Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, the Bills might Calvin Ridley. And I'm like, oh, he's kind of similar to Stephon Diggs. And then I look at him, he's almost older than Stephon Diggs. Like,
I know. Yeah.
Hell no.
He had a whole year off. Yeah.
So good for him. And I mean, he cooked us out in London, so you got to give him that, Calvin Ridley. But very streaky guy. And hey, go to Tennessee, be with Will Levis and D Hop, and go. You might have a chance to make a run. And I don't know though. Jaguars loaded up pretty good too. So that
Jaguars loaded up. The Texans, quietly are just they're just building a team. They had a ton of cap space, and they're spending it wisely. It seems like. So you've got to keep your eye. As we'll kind of look, and we're going to take a deeper look at the AFC coming up in the next couple of weeks. DT and I again will be back for live episodes. We'll kind of be sporadic. We'll see if we're going every week or every other week, and then after the draft, we'll start to ramp up and get
when the Bills go get T. Higgins.
Yeah.
We'll be on.
Yeah, absolutely. But we appreciate it tonight as we begin to wrap up. Over 1,600 people watching right now, DT.
Wow,
I mean, that means that the crew is growing. That means that people are engaged, and I really love it. I really love the support. So we do appreciate it. As we begin to wrap up, the Nickel City Crew Tailgate Report presented by 26 Shirts. Again, please head over to 26shirts.com for all of your latest Buffalo theme t-shirts. Again, they all support a great cause. Portion of the proceeds go to families that are in need, that need something. So again, you see it at the top of your screen, presented by 26 Shirts. Please head on over there. Again, salute to the Godfather, Del Reed, who's running that site. And again, go over there, check out some of those new concepts, get yourself right for the summertime. DT, you were not lying. You talked about how they try to pull you back in. Those motherfuckers sent me my bill for the season tickets, and then you and I started talking. I'm like, I told y'all people to leave me alone for a little bit. I'm still exhausted, but it's funny because once you get it, and then obviously they're doing the little promos about the new stadium and stuff like that, and you just, I don't know, DT, it's like these motherfuckers they just get me right back. They're like, man, you want to be a part of this shit. You're like, yeah, I know I do. And it just I feel like a scorned spouse that's just coming back like, yeah, I mean, yes, I love you. Like, I could never be without you. So it's just so funny because I think they sent it towards the end of February. They let people know that there was going to be a small price increase, and they sent out the little invoices in March, and it was like, yeah, I love you. Like, I'll be back. It's just funny, DT, because I needed that time off for sure after the Super Bowl, and they pull you back in, just like the Godfather.
Get you right back. And granted, the best entertainment business in the world. I mean,
yeah,
we come out, and just when you're about to forget, and then Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Mitch Morse are all released on the same day, and you're back in football action, back in draft, the combine's rolling, and you're ready to roll. And at least until the new stadium, I just feel like it's just there for us. It's we're in it. We got 1-7, and I don't know. Back to the Soprano therapy situation. It's like, do I just heighten up? Like, all right, football's over. Let's take a little break. And now it's like, all right, March Madness coming. I try to enhance things and glorify things in between that, truthfully, I don't know if I really care about, but I try to put these ideas up and something to look forward to until I can actually start looking forward to something I want to look forward to. And that's 1-7 and the boys getting back out on the field. So it's real. Shout out to the crowd tonight. I appreciate that. And Rob, I mean, it doesn't sound like we took a month off. We're right back in action.
Click clack, we back, baby. Man. Click clack, we back. Stops. Please check us out on Instagram and Twitter. Check out my co-host Adam Dumptruck Rupsick on Instagram at Rupsick, RUPCZYK. Again, you see his handle there on your screen. But again, we released these, so we will release this episode for Friday for your weekend, getting ready. We've got the mother of Nickel City Crew, Mama Crippen. I mean, she's got her birthday coming up on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
So shout out to Mama, the official mother of the crew, along with DT's mom as well. So we've got two mamas of the crew watching over us. So happy birthday to Mama Crippen coming up on the weekend. Other than that, DT, I mean, I've just been enjoying the off season. We've got sports. You already know my Kings are playing every damn sport, and Nate's in 7-on-7. He's playing soccer as well, and then Bobby's playing, soccer, and then he's playing rugby. He's into it, DT. He likes rugby. Okay. He says he likes rugby better than tackle football, so that's been crazy. It's been fun to watch him. He's on an elite team down here in Charlotte, traveling all over, so it's been crazy, and Nate's been doing his thing with the 7-on-7. So I've been in full off-season mode. I needed the break, and I promise you, I can't stay away from these. I mean, look, I just can't stay away from them, DT. I think you're right. I will have some tough decisions, when the new stadium comes and they ask for those stupid PSLs. Until then, I'm like, where am I going, man? Like, where am I going? I'm coming. I'm coming home. Like, I love you so much.
Oh yeah, man.
Please win the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, exactly. It strung us out to enough where we can't feel bad about it. We can't feel bad about it, Nickel City Crew. So this is just the start. Season 4, going to be a great season. Let's go.
All right, as we wrap up tonight, Think Out Loud says, looks like we're drafting a safety first round and Leggett second round. I don't know, Think Out Loud. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't think that you spend that kind of draft capital on a safety. They're not running backs, and they are important. But like, man, I just don't know if you spend a first round pick on a safety unless he is Justin Hamilton or something like that. You got to be a game changer for me to want to grab somebody like that first round. I really feel like wide receiver, you put in that work and you almost buy a redshirt year. That's how I'm gonna choose to look at it. That's me personally. Think Out Loud. So you've got your own opinions. Everybody can have them. I don't know if safety, if I wouldn't want to do that, DT. That's me. I don't know about safety.
Yeah. Hey, Sean McDermott, one thing he's proven, he develops safety. So I don't care where we get him. Let's go.
Okay, no problem. Listen to DT. He said no problem. Well, listen, I just don't want to get burned on the receiver in the second round. That's all. I just don't want there to be a run top of round 2, and then all of a sudden we're watching on Sundays and looking like, damn, we could have had that guy. Damn, we could have had that guy.
In the second round.
You don't think so?
Here, if we're not, we'll get into draft talk here on a few episodes, but Leggett ain't making it to the second round.
Wow.
That dude is showing his freakness. He's gonna be a primetime player. He ain't making
Listen
it to
to DT putting his draft hat on. Okay. No. All right, no problem. I hear you, DT. Listen, man, I enjoyed it tonight, DT. I am so happy. Like you said, I missed you as well, brother. Good to see you, man, in the flesh. At least through these these technology cameras, but it's good to see you, man. I'm happy that you're doing okay. Enjoy it. We'll announce when we're coming out. We'll announce it might be a little bit sporadic as we're going and getting up to the draft. And you already know we hit you like Novocaine every single week when the season starts. Pretty much when training camp starts, we hit you every week. So we're ramping back up as well. Bear with us. And again, we've got a lot of cool ideas for Nickel City Crew this year. Want to continue to interact with you. Think Out Loud. Thank you, man, for interacting with us tonight. Thank you all for watching. You see that, DT, at the top? 1,600. Come on, y'all. Nickel City Crew. I know y'all ready. I know y'all out here, Bills Mafia. We love you guys, man. Listen, out there, spread love, not hate. These were my Bills thoughts said out loud. I ain't nothing else to say, DT. Hit them with a Go Bills. Season 4. Bills. We kicked it off right. Let's go.
Go Bills.
I love it. I love it.